I'm very happy to be here to represent Sumitomo SHI FW. It's a long name, but it's a legacy of over 130 years of delivering power plants, technologies to decarbonize our society. So we are an industrial OEM with over 1,800 experts, professional experts, in delivering over 800 power plants globally. Quite a focus in North America, Europe, and in the Far East in Asia. But we're not only doing that, more so we're looking into bringing new technologies to the market. So we have, beside our biomass waste to energy plants, we have carbon capture solutions, which I'm responsible for. So we have 3 solutions that capture CO2 from point source emissions, either power plants, hard to abate industries. We also have gasification solutions that's intended to produce high quality fuels, biofuels for example, maritime and transport sectors. We also have energy storage as a solution for long duration applications. So quite a multitude of technologies that help us reach our emission reduction targets. That's a really excellent point, because it's been quite a focus of the conference, that I'm really happy that it's really coming into the attention, the role that we need for capturing biogenic CO2 and using it to reach net zero. I think there's quite an understanding now that there are what we call process emissions, CO2, that will inevitably be within our industrial processes. And in order for us to reach net zero, we need to capture that CO2 and generate a negative performance in terms of emissions. So that's really where BECCS, or bioenergy with carbon capture and storage, is to capture biogenic CO2 that's coming from what we call residual waste or byproducts from industry, and sending that CO2, let's say, back to the ground where it should be, and making sure that we have not just a net neutrality, but a net positive impact on the environment. We've seen that also shaping up in regulations. So even here in the EU, already by 2030, there's a target for a couple of 100 million tons of CO2 to be stored, and up to 2050, and even earlier, we're expecting it to be in the gigatons of CO2 globally. A lot of projects are being developed at the moment with that mindset and that target in our view, which is to enable society to get to that net neutrality. I think that's a really excellent point to address, because carbon capture there's a misconception about it, that it's an additionality to the existing plant. It's an additional cost to capture CO2 or to clean your emissions, which inherently that is true. However, there are opportunities that are generated from your carbon capture project. And that's what we're trying to address with our solutions. So added value. So beside capturing CO2, what other impact can you bring to your project? So for example, we have a solution called SFW Oxy Plus, which is intended for oxy-fuel power plants. So that decarbonizes your, let's say, biomass, CHP plants. So decarbonizes your heat and power production, but at the same time generates bio CO2 that can be used for the production of biomaterials. One important feature of that technology is that it requires oxygen. And oxygen is a byproduct from green hydrogen plants. So it creates this type of industrial sector coupling, where a green hydrogen plant can produce the hydrogen needed for synthesis applications, and the oxygen can be used for carbon capture. So you see an additional value that's created there. Similarly, we have another solution, for example, for the cement industry and metallurgical industry, what we call SFW Cal Plus. And really there, it's a multi-product solution where we decarbonize not just Scope 1 emissions of the existing industrial plant, but also Scope 2. That's their energy-related emissions. We also generate byproduct solid streams and gas streams, so kind of to help the financial feasibility of the project. And also, last but not least, we also have a solution called SFW HPC Plus, which is a liquid solvent system which intends to electrify your carbon capture technology and reduces the steam consumption or the energy consumption from an existing plant. So you see, you have to approach the projects with an open mindset to see what other values you can couple with just removing your emissions. I think as an industrial OEM, and as I mentioned, that we have an experience of executing large-scale projects, we come on board to de-risk the execution of projects. We leverage our experience in not just execution, but also technology development and innovation of the solution to make sure it best fits the case study that it's intended for. Of course, we cannot do this alone. This requires partnering. This requires collaboration with our partners, the operators of the different industrial plants. So that really is the key, having that early dialogue with the partners, understanding their needs, and giving an opportunity to develop the project in a way that best fits that needs.